TMOD, TMOD Mohit, risk, TMOD Mohit, risk. Thank you, Dostana Shriram. Imagine a scenario where our school principal or the strictest teacher of our school plans a random visit to our class. The moment they enter the class, the silence is so profound that you can even hear a drop of a pin. Almost exactly the same situation was in my house on 30th April 2016 when I, in front of my mother-in-law and other family members, said, "Listen, I am going on a solo trip to Rishikesh." My mother-in-law, who just visited to my house that early morning, was like, "Hey, you are going to a solo trip, that to on mountains?" But that was my plan. She will be coming on 30th April. At least I can go in that period because I will have someone who can take care of my wife and kids back there. But 2 minutes of silence and 2 hours of long discussion. That discussion was actually, it was not a discussion, it was an argument. They were trying to tell me that how risky it is to go on mountains. That too, you must have seen the swift flow of river Ganga at Rishikesh. And the dense crowd of Haridwar, Har Ki Pauri, they were all concerned about that thing. And it was my first solo trip. That was also a point of concern for them. But after listening to all their discussions, all their arguments, all the convincing power they had to try to stop me from going there, after 2 hours and almost 35 minutes, I said, "Listen, I am going." And later that evening, with almost no plan, with no itinerary planned for the day and no valid ticket, I boarded a train from Lucknow station to Haridwar. Fortunate enough, no TC turned up that day. No TC turned up that day. I reached Haridwar early morning, went directly to Har Ki Pauri, took the bath, and finally reached Rishikesh at around 11 am. I was exploring places like Ram Jhula, Lakshman Jhula, local markets of Rishikesh, where soon I found out that there is a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva in the mountains, named as Neelkanth Mahadev. So excitedly I booked an Activa from that local market to go and visit that place. The moment the bike dealer gave the keys to me, I think that the risk and the fear that my parents were trying to give it to me was all over my face. And the bike dealer just imagined that I am fearful. I got the fear, I got the risk. I am riding that bike on the mountain for the first time. So he advised me to take his nephew Raju along with me, and I was like, thank God I have got a local partner along with me. Raju was so smart. He took me from all the shortcuts of Rishikesh, and he even showed the 2 waterfalls on the way to the Neelkanth. After riding for almost 1.5 hours in the mountains, we reached to a place that was so mesmerizing. That place was so beautiful, but equally it was on the opposite side of Neelkanth Mahadev. The place where I reached after 1.5 hours, this place has a platform that was installed approximately 83 meters high from the rock ground levels. It was 83 meters, you must know 83 meters is approximately 25 floor building. That was too high. And I was like, what is this place? Later on I realized it is known as Jump and Ice, India's highest and the first bungee jumping site in India. Do you think I took that jump from there?
Yes.
I go on for that jump. Let's see. To know more about this, whether I took the jump or not, we'll have to wait for a few minutes. Now it's a time to call upon stage the general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Abhilash. Thank you, Toastmaster Abhilash, for your and warm introduction of your team. Now, coming back to our adventure. The place I found that at a height of 83 meters, 25 floor building. 18th floor was the highest building in Lucknow back then in 2016. Bungee jumping is quite common these days. Even we have one in Delhi too. But in 2016, Rishikesh jumping heights was the one and the only bungee jumping site of India. So it was scary, it was risky. But I had a different feeling seeing that location. I was so excited. I was like, I am going to do this thing. This is the most riskiest thing I've ever tried, and I always prefer doing taking these types of risks. So, too excited enough to. I was so enthusiastic. I took out my phone immediately and recorded a person who was going to jump from that place. I recorded a full video of 25 seconds and immediately sent it to my wife. The moment it showed the double ticks on WhatsApp, I was like, what a terrible mistake I have made. The video was 25 seconds long, and exactly 37 seconds later, I received a call from my wife. No, hello, how are you? Nothing, where are you? Nothing at all. And she said, see, we have allowed you go to the solo trip. You are in no way going to do this thing. And I was like, okay. And I kept my phone. Now, what do you think? Why do you think I shared this incident with you? Any idea why I shared this particular incident with you?
Because you want to stick your neck out.
And
to share
And you want to
the
put
risk
yourself
what
in
you
a
have
fair
faced,
Risk what you face.
or the risk what you
Never
intend
share
to
something
try.
adventurous with your wife. She'll stop you. Never share something adventurous with your wife. She'll stop you.
I would say
This is the biggest hack you're sharing.
see,
Tell that you were calm at that situation.
let me tell you why I actually shared with you. I have done multiple activities that day. Saw Ram Jhula, Lakshman Jhula, Har Ki Pauri, took bath at Har Ki Pauri, and visited Rishikesh solo trip to Rishikesh also, and went to this Nilkant Mahadev. Actually, I didn't went to Nilkant Mahadev, it was already late. So I get back to my hotel. But the most important things, two things were most important in the whole day. Firstly, this was my first solo trip to Rishikesh. This opportunity, I took it so heartedly. I took this opportunity. And secondly, I went for a bungee jump on a bungee jumping site, and I somehow was convinced not to take this step. Now, why does this happen? That in a matter of just 24 hours, I grabbed one opportunity, an important opportunity of going to this on a solo trip to Rishikesh, and secondly, I just missed this opportunity. Why does it happen? When I was researching and found that while reading that book, Connecting the Dots, I found my answer. When I tried to connect my dots, I saw that there is a pattern that almost everyone present here has it. Everyone decides in the same manner, that they take some steps and they refuse taking different steps. What is that pattern? What is that pattern? Any idea? Why is it that we take few opportunities and miss the different opportunities? Even if the risk involved in both the opportunities is almost the same. The risk of going to the mountains was not that risky, but the only risk of what they have in their minds, in the parents' minds or in our minds is, what if something happens to us? What if we met with an accident? What if we, ultimately it comes to what if we die? So the same thing is with this bungee jumping also. What if the rope breaks and we fell on that rocky ground? So there's a pattern, and I'll be discussing this pattern in my next section, because it is the time to call upon stage the evaluator, first evaluator, Toastmaster Sriram, who will be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Vishal. Thank you, Saurav, for sharing this vital information by providing a proper plan from where we can reach from one state to another. Thank you. Now, coming back to our quest, the quest of finding what is the biggest risk. It is not financial, it is not health, it is not technological, it is not judgment. What it is, as stated by Prince, the biggest risk is not taking any risk. Just imagine, what if what if Jeff Bezos didn't choose not to take that risk of giving up his lucrative finance career, would there be any Amazon? Would there be AWS? Would there be Prime Videos? No.
Yeah.
He must have taken the risk.
Yeah,
I'm sure
someone else is coming.
Netflix is there, but he must have also taken the risk. Then only it was possible. Or what if Steve Jobs would have not taken the risk of eliminating 70% of the product line of Apple? I'm damn sure you won't be carrying an iPhone today. Most of them who are carrying it, they won't be having that iPhone today if Steve Jobs did not take that risk of eliminating 70% of the product line. Just take my personal example only. That day on 30th April 2016, I took the risk and went on a solo trip to Rishikesh. Fast forward to today, I have completed my 16th solo trip last month in November, which was not possible if I have not taken that risk. And similarly, which was not possible if I have taken the second risk of taking that jump from bungee jumping. And let's take your example only. Maybe 25 years ago, you must have taken that risk of stepping out of your home for the very first time. And I'm damn sure all of you are going to the office alone only. I mean, you are going on different places just because you took that first step of leaving your house alone. So taking risk is important. The biggest risk I share that it is not taking any risk. That is the biggest risk. How many of you are convinced that the biggest risk is not taking any risk? Still, I can feel some of the hands are not up because I feel that you are not convinced yet that taking the risk is not taking any risk is the biggest risk. So let me share my example of that only. Of when I didn't took that risk of jumping from that bungee jumping site. Almost 8 years have passed of that from that day, and till date I have not taken that risk of going on a bungee jumping site again. Even though we have got one at 1500 rupees at Delhi, I have not visited there. It is still risky, it is still scary, and I am still trying to cope up with my courage or fear of that. Just because I have declined that risk that day. And it's no more. I mean, I am working on improving my RRR, risk reward ratio. How? By overcoming my fear of taking those risks, by making it more comfortable. And in the past 8 years, how I made it comfortable? By going on a river rafting, by river rafting, I have done that giant wheel. That is also risky. That is a fear of height. I have done that too, but it is less riskier than bungee jumping. And last week only, I went for paragliding. It was again a risk. Why? Because we fell from approximately 3,500 feet at paragliding. This is also risky, and I'm damn sure I will take mark my bungee jumping fear this year, because I'm inspired by one of our Toastmasters who has shared that she already did that bungee jumping last year, and I will complete my this fear, overcome my this fear. So thank you. It was my very good time. You have been a lovely audience for this, and thank you. And now it's a time to call upon stage Toastmaster Prince, who will be sharing the topic session.